Vinyl community, Temptations fans, random people on the internet, my name is Giggens, and we're here today to talk about the Temptations' 1968 album, The Temptations' Wish It Would Rain, released on Motown Records. Now, right off the bat, I'm a huge Temptations fan. I love a lot of their stuff, and this is probably my favorite album of theirs. Probably my favorite album of theirs. A little bit of history on this one. It's the last album they made with David Ruffin, who was, I guess you can consider the lead singer of this group, along with Eddie Kendricks, who was also the lead singer. But he was the guy who was on like Ain't Too Proud to Beg and My Girl and a bunch of other ones like I Wish It Would Rain. Really kind of creating this intense, soulful rawness in his voice, which gave the group sometimes an edge. And then you had Eddie doing his thing with the falsetto, so it gave kind of a whole different feel, which was awesome to hear all the voices blend together. And each guy in this group had something really special to offer with their voice, and I think that's what makes the Temptations so interesting to listen to and so fun to listen to, because there's a lot to choose from, and each performance they give always sounds just as good as the other one, if not better. And this album is special because, like I said, it's the last one they made with David Ruffin, who at this point in the band's career was doing a whole bunch of cocaine and kind of was going off the rails on an ego trip. At this point, the Supremes had been rechristened Diana Ross and the Supremes. There was Gladys Knight and the Pips. I mean, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. So he wanted to be David Ruffin and the Temptations because he felt like he was the lead singer. It should be named after me. I am the group. This is me. And he was riding in limos by himself, turning up to gigs late or not showing up at all. And then, eventually the other guys in the band got completely fed up with it and tired of that. And they were like, hey man, you're out. You're done. And they brought in their friend Dennis, and for the first month or so that Dennis was in the group doing shows, David Ruffin would somehow find a way into these shows and bounce up on stage and sing Ain't Too Proud to Beg and then just disappear. And this happened for a month. No matter how intense and tight the security was, he'd show up, get on stage, sing a song, and then leave. And all the other guys would be like, the hell, man? This was a really transitional period for them, and musically, this was the last album they made that has that classic Motown sound. After this, it became the psychedelic soul of Cloud 9, Ball of Confusion, Papa Was Rolling Stone, all that kind of stuff came after this. So, this was the end of an era for sure. The album starts off with a song called I Could Never Love Another After Loving You, and this is one of two tracks written by Roger Penzabene, I think is how you pronounce his name, who he wrote this and the title track, I Wish It Would Rain. And the really heartbreaking story behind this is that guy actually killed himself because of the girl he was writing about in these two songs. So it makes these two songs even more heartbreaking to hear because this guy was pouring out his soul over this love. And he killed himself. So it's very sad to hear these songs sometimes and think that, that was what was happening behind the scenes. But in the case of the music itself, David Ruffin's soulful vocals are fantastic. He's got that little bit of a raspiness to his voice that really carries a lot of weight and a lot of depth. And you can really feel like he's on his hands and knees, just giving it his all to the microphone. And that's not to say that the other Temptations aren't doing their work either. Just the moments where David Ruffin is, for lack of a better term, the star of the song, he really does steal the show. But the other guys working behind him are working just as hard, doing their own thing, but letting David kind of take the reins, I guess. The choruses on this one with David and the Temptations is a real winning combination. I love the bongos that run throughout the entire track and the grand sweeping string sections. That's kind of a Motown thing, but just works. Just a good Motown sound. I don't know. Sounds good. Cyndi is the next song, and I love the call and response on this one. It's got a really simple guitar riff that kind of bounces over this straightforward beat throughout the entire track. The strings kind of play in their own universe. It's like, the guitar and drums are doing their own thing and the strings are doing their own thing. And it almost sounds like two different songs because the instruments are doing their own thing, but it just works really well. There's a lot of life and a lot of sunshine on this song about kind of a downbeat subject about, the love of your life not being there. Lost love. That's definitely a common theme with a lot of the Motown stuff. It's like, you're happy or you're sad. Or you're really angry or you're really sad. that was their blueprint for all their songs. But I mean, it worked, and they made some classics. Everybody did. The Supremes, the Four Tops, you name it. They were great songs. The title track, "I Wish It Would Rain," is easily one of my favorite songs of all time by any group. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. And it's got one of the most memorable piano intros, I would say, ever. I mean, "Wish It Would Rain," "Imagine," I mean, there's piano, "A Bridge Over Troubled Water," like, that's one of the most memorable piano intros of all time. And the sound effects, like the storm sound at the end and the rushing waves and the seagulls in the beginning, create this soundscape that really kind of transport you somewhere else. And David's vocals, again, he's got that, like, "I'm at the end of my rope here" thing going on, which, knowing how the song came to be, it's amazing that David was able to, like, encompass that vocally, to create that feeling that was written on paper and put it out in his own way, and just that, like, intense pleading vocal. I mean, it's one of those songs that you listen to. You just sit there and listen to it, and you're blown away by how awesome it is. I love the background vocals in this song so much, because they do their own thing, you know, "Such a lovely day," like, all that stuff, so good. Especially Eddie's parts in the background vocals, because it's nice to have that little bit of a lightness on top of David's kind of gruff rawness. That really works well together. And I love that the song's got a fade out, so it doesn't really have, like, an ending. It's just one of those tracks that's just a win all over the place. And it was a single, and absolutely great song. Love this song to pieces. Just a gut-wrenching honesty. A really harmonious display of passion and love and loss, and a culmination of a ton of emotions thrown together within 2.5 minutes. That, I mean, that's powerful stuff, man. "Please Return Your Love to Me" was also a single, and it's the next song on this album, and Eddie takes the lead vocal on this, which is good to get a change of pace, because David had the first 3 songs. So he's doing his smooth, silky voice thing. He's got the easy-flowing trademark style of his, which is just wonderful to listen to. He was the guy who sang lead on "The Way You Do the Things You Do." That's Eddie. It's kind of like that typical Motown start-stop guitar thing that that they do on a lot of their songs. But, you know, the bass and the steady drums, the way the lyrics kind of flow into each other in the chorus, I really like that. How it's just like you can't even, like, catch your breath if you're trying to sing along to it. It's just one after another after another. Very cool. The B-side of this song is a song called "How Can I Forget," and that was released in July when this was a single. And that was the first track recorded without David Ruffin involved in any certain way, because he had left the group, I think, in June. So it was a brand new thing. So they put this song out as a single, and I guess wanted a new song for the B-side and chose to do that instead. So a little bit of a fun fact for you there. "Fan the Flame" is a cool song. Doesn't really, like, you know, create a whole lot of new territory to explore, but it's got a really cool guitar riff that leads into, like, a bongo-laden, tambourine-drenched vibe throughout this entire song. David takes the lead on this one, and it's a song about making your girl feel special. So that's an awesome message. That's a good message. The last song on the side one is "He Who Picks a Rose," and this was an awesome intro to the song. It's kind of funky, but it's still poppy at the same time. It's pretty lively. And if there's ever a time they played this live, I bet it was a lot of fun, because there's spaces where they're not singing, and I feel like the song can breathe a little better, and the person listening to it or dancing to it can kind of, like, you know, catch their breath or, like, get sucked into the places of the song where they're not working so hard. So you kind of become a part of the song, which is kind of cool. Whereas most of their other songs are just vocals straight through with, like, maybe an instrumental break in the middle. This one's got some space to breathe. Side 2, "Why Did You Leave Me, Darling?" This has kind of like a minor piano thing throughout the whole song going on, but David's packing a punch, like yelling his ass off the entire time in this song. It's a fantastic vocal performance from him. I love the piano break riff in the middle, and there's a great horn section, and there's a key change on this song. I think this is the only song on the album that has a key change, which is a very, like, Kinks move to do, but it works. I truly, truly believe Melvin takes the lead on this one. Melvin was the bass guy, the bass singer in this band. And he shows off his lead vocal chops, and he didn't do that a whole lot by this point in the band's career. It wasn't until the next couple albums where each guy would get solos on songs like I can't think of any of the songs right now. Ball of Confusion, I Just Can't Get Next to You, where they really showcase individual people, individual members showing off how great their voices were. Because a lot of the early stuff is just like David or Eddie and then the group behind them, or Paul once in a while doing a solo. So it's cool to hear Melvin do his thing. This was the B-side to I Wish It Would Rain. And again, this song doesn't explore too much new territory, but it's nice to hear Melvin do his thing. This Is My Beloved is another Eddie song. And this is a really peppy, upbeat song. Kind of in like the way you do the things you do, but like for 1968. It's about when life is hard and is really terrible and things kind of suck, you know that your girl's going to cheer you on and make you feel great no matter how bad life gets. Cool song. Gonna give her all the love I've got. Paul finally singing lead on this one. And Paul, oh man, Paul Williams, he had an insanely great voice. He was just emotional, honest, and raw, whereas David was able to convey that stuff too, but I feel like there was something different about Paul's voice where it came from a different place. I feel like David's voice was really good at sort of taking a message and being like the messenger of a song, whereas Paul, for some reason, his vocals feel like he lived it or something. It's just very honest. I love the organ on this song, and it's just a nice head bobber the whole way through. I've Passed This Way Before is the next track, and Melvin does a little bit in this song, and then David sings the rest of it. And this song doesn't really go anywhere for me either. It's kind of like a filler track, but not in a bad way by any means. And the last song on this album, No Man Can Love Her Like I Do, Paul takes the final lead on this song, and keeps it really upbeat and dancey. It's definitely a groove kind of a song. His vocals on this track are really stellar, and the Temptations doing the background vocals are equally as stellar. I love the way they vocally gel on this one. It's just a really cool combination of all their voices just really in a groove. Here's the back of the back jacket. I've always loved this style of LP back jackets. Just simple, A and B, a picture, name of the album, Motown. Like, to the point, here's what you got. What you want to hear is inside the grooves. Speaking of which, this is the old Gordy label. So, I love this album. Like I said, it's probably my favorite Temptations album. We have a lot to choose from, but I think if I absolutely had to, this would be one of them. Maybe I'll say it's my favorite David Ruffin era album by them. If I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a 7 or an 8 out of 10. There's a couple of songs in this album that definitely aren't my favorite, and like I said, they don't strike a whole lot of new ground or go anywhere or deviate from the norm at all, and they're probably there to take up space to make an album. But again, they're not terrible by any stretch of the imagination, just my imagination. Yeah, I really do enjoy this album. Their live stuff is really good, and yeah, I think that's all I got to say about that one. So, really happy I finally got around to doing a Temptations album. I'm going to do some more at some point, but this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching, guys. My name is Giggens. This is cannot talk today. Allergies, man. Allergies? Yeah, allergies make my voice weird. This has been Album Reviews with Giggens. That's me. These are the Temptations. That's them. And They Wish It Would Rain. Thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I'll catch you in the next video, and I'll promise to be talking better. Alright, bye.